This is your boy Mr. G, and welcome to the Road to Freedom, my next episode. And I'm going to talk about a positive experience that I had. This probably will be a shorter video, and I am going to be talking about a ride to Passage that I did get to experience, because really this whole thing is about my rides to Passage. You know, not rite of passage, because that's kind of what it was for kids growing up when I grew up. It was about the ride itself being the rite to passage. And I'm gonna talk today about parking my first car at the age of 5 and Big George. Because it was really meaningful to me, and did go the way it was supposed to. You know, I talked last time about not being able to build the go-kart and whatnot. So men like Big George, who was my mom's boyfriend, they would encourage kids of my day and age to drive. Like when you got your first chance to drive, you already knew how. You'd already jumped on anything you could, you know, previous to then. And one of the things that my mom's boyfriend used to do is that we would get, and this, I mean, Americans hear this story and they're going to think this is insane, but in the middle of the 70s, this would not have been crazy. My mom had this boyfriend named Big George, and he was like super special because he had his own house and his own car, and he owned this like this red 68 Mustang, if I remember right. It was a late 60s model. I don't know if it was exactly 68. And he owned this Mustang. So he had a car and a house, which was like freaking out wealthy to us. And my mom landed herself a rich man. And so when we would get in the car, you know, my mom would make sure my aunts came over and show off. They'd all squeeze in the back seat, and she'd be in the front passenger seat, and come on, dude, come on. And gotta take advantage of the fact that I'm on the way to get a new tire in the right rear, and so we should abuse this one a little bit more if we get a chance. And so my mom would have me with her, so I would sit on George's lap and pretend to drive the car. And no, I wasn't in a seatbelt, and neither was George, neither was my mom, and what do you know, another vet right there. Traction system off, fools. And this was a common thing. And that's how we do when we do. That was awesome. So my mom's boyfriend, Big George, he would put his finger like right here, and he would really be the one controlling the car. But you know, he would tell me like, I'll do the pedals and you do the steering, together we're gonna be a great team, you're gonna drive this car. And I kind of understood that I wasn't really driving the car, but I still thought that I am amazing and that I'm driving a car. I let myself believe. And so one day we're parking the car, and he's telling my mom, you know, that he's gonna let me park the car. And all of a sudden my mom starts, no, don't do it, George, put your hand back on the steering wheel. And I realize, like, he's not kidding. His hands are in the air. He's literally going to let me park the car. And my aunts are in the back seat. They're screaming, don't do it, you're gonna ruin your car. And I've seen him do it. I've been on his lap like a bunch of times when he parked this damn thing. I know how this works. You turn it this way a little bit, then you turn it this way a little bit, and bam, you're parked. So he backs it up nice and slow, and I do the turn, and I turn it back the other way, and lo and behold, I parked the car by myself. And you know, this was important to him. If he was going to hang with my mom, he was going to have to raise a little boy. This little boy was going to grow up to be a man. He needed to know how to drive. He needed to know how to park a car. And that was part of, you know, I'm going to become a man someday. And so I parked the damn car. And I was on cloud 9 for weeks. You know, that's all I talked about. I parked a car. And so my question to you, because it's a little bit shorter episode, is your rites of passage, the key things in growing up in the motorcycle muscle car world. What were they? How important were they to you? Did you experience a similar environment to the one I'm describing, where, you know, the men in the environment really pushed this? Like, you gotta remember that I grew up in the Smokey and the Bandit, Burt Reynolds, Evel Knievel world, you know, Cannonball Run world, where even in art it was being mimicked, or maybe that's where it started. So that is my episode for the day. Parking my first car with Big George. And I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Leave your story so we can get some kind of dialogue going. And that is the full episode in my road to freedom. Peace, and I'm out.